And that's why we're no longer on broadcastmonsters.com.
It's true.
So that's the people have spoken, and away we are. Welcome to another edition of Face Off Hockey Show. I am Scotty Waz, and that voice you heard was Mark with the C, and that's just us. It's all us tonight, Mark.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty excited about that because you know why, Scotty? It's a brand new world. Something happened that hasn't happened since we were in high school.
I got laid.
It's like I said, a whole new world. Nope.
Were you a part of the whole shindig that was happening down there? Because it seemed everyone else that we knew was.
I did not go to the game. Nope, I did not go. But I did get this in the mail today. It's an ESPN magazine with Adam Jones taking a selfie with a cop. I don't know what it means, but there it is.
It's there, so God bless them. Yes, the Baltimore Orioles have won the AL East for the first time since 1997. Me and Mark were a few weeks into high school, and it was Davey Johnson was there, Mike Bordick was there, Robbie Alomar was there. It was a crazy. Cal Ripken was there even. So it's a fun time. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Chris Bubbles Hoyles.
Oh God, Hoyles, who can't? He's the guy who came up with the Baltimore Hockey Classic, so we can blame him.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah, he was his construction company or whatever the hell his business, his Hoyles thing, sporting management stuff. He was all over that. At least the first one. The second one, he might have just left Dodge entirely because, well, that's just a shoddy situation in general at that Baltimore arena there. But yeah, Chris Hoyles' name was all over that, and he still lives somehow, some way.
Good for him. Good for Chris Hoyles for making his legacy known in Baltimore for something other than being a above-average catcher.
Yeah, he's basically the guy that he replaced Mickey Tettleton. That's essentially what he was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good for Chris Hoyles. But yeah, that was a fun. Luckily they're playing Toronto, so I was able to watch Monday and last night's game Tuesday, the clincher on the Sportsnet. So yeah, it was a fun time, and I was glad to be a part of it, even though it was from afar. And yeah, now it's all waiting about who the hell they're going to play in the ALDS, and that's going to be a fun situation. So yeah, huzzah, good for them O's, and maybe the only team in the AL East to make it, because I don't know if the Jays or Yankees are going to catch up to that wild card spot. So. All the East is on the Orioles' hand. That was a lot of orange there at the ballpark. Yeah, so that was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was, and a lot of fireworks. Lots of my friends were there. It went a little nuts at the end there, I think. I saw a lot of videos of such things, such insanity. So, yeah, good for Baltimore after all of the crap that Baltimore has put up with for the last week or so. It was, I guess, good news.
And then Chris Davis flips a car over on 295 in
Yeah,
a good way, and
it couldn't have been those amphetamines that he was suspended for, right?
No, he just got
Amphetamines.
superhuman strength. People do when they get they're in pressure situations. They're able to lift cars and birth babies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's, whatever. It's all jacked up. These things happen.
Unbelievable.
Where did they say where on 295 it was?
I don't believe so. I didn't look too far into the story, but yeah, Chris Davis. What a man. What a man that Chris Davis is.
Chris Davis and Brooks Light. If you got car trouble in the Baltimore D.C. area, they will fix it for you somehow, some way.
It's like the two dreamiest guys on the Baltimore Washington sports teams, right? Am I right?
It really is. You throw Bryce Harper into the equation, I'm sure he's in that, and then there you go. You're good to go. So. Interesting situation. I hadn't even thought of that part. Good work, Mark. Way to get that investigative reporter hat on and making it work.
What can I say?
I don't know. You say it. You say what you got to say, brother. I'm not going to stop you because you were supposed to. You were supposed to not be here. Wow.
I was supposed to not be here. You're right. And there he is.
Marky screen share there.
Wonderful Chris Davis. Look at that. If that doesn't keep you up at night, I don't know what will.
Ladies.
Present to everyone. You are screen sharing and presenting to everyone,
That
aren't I?
that's amazing. Like
Yes.
I good on you, Chris. And he's so serious about it too. Look at him go.
Yeah. Mm,
Wow.
what a guy. So stop screen sharing. All right, I'm back. As you guys know, I play on a hockey team. Um, this hockey team uh, plays at a rink in Laurel. It's in Maryland. Just outside DC, north of DC. Um, Top-notch service, this place. I mean, just they go above and beyond anything you could ever imagine or want from a ice hockey rink that runs a league. So everyone just finished paying their money for this session. It was due, I believe, at the end of last week. We get an email on Tuesday. Excuse me, no, Monday. Saying that the compressor is broken and therefore no ice, so no games. So we were supposed to have a game tonight. I was going to be leaving early and when Lyle came on to go play said game, but the compressors do not work.
What the hell? I guess is my question. Sam Apple's to blame, obviously, for this.
Clearly.
Uh, wow, that's interesting. Like, yeah, thanks for the money. We can't fix things. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous, but not unexpected. Ridiculous, but not unexpected.
Ridiculous, not unexpected whatsoever. That's for darn sure. What's happening? There we go. Am I coming up when I'm talking, or is it just you all the time? I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh, maybe I said it's because I am presenting to everyone. Stop.
Oh, okay. There we go. Face Off Hockey Show is no longer presenting. There it is. That's interesting. So, how did you make that happen? Look at you go.
I don't know. It gave me the option to present to everyone when I was showing the Chris Davis thing.
Ladies. So yeah, that's an interesting. Is it on all 8 rinks they have there, or is it just like I guess the main compressor feeds them all. So.
I guess so. I don't know if it was just the rink we were supposed to play on or not, but it just said compressor broken, so I didn't ask questions.
Yep, you're just enjoying a night off and a night with all of us as we're there, Mark. We're right up against it, as the kids like to say.
Yeah?
When it comes to the hockey, 3 weeks till real hockey starts.
That's outrageous.
It's insane. October 8th, first puck drops, and especially up here, that's a big deal in the $5.2 billion era that Rogers is paying for this National Hockey League coverage. So. Getting
That's
ready for that.
Insane. That is a ridiculous amount of money there.
It's a little absurd, isn't it? It's a little absurd, but hey, Rogers now runs stuff, and God bless them, because they've got 175 channels that they can put hockey. They're putting hockey on FX this year. They're putting hockey on City TV. They might even put it on Home and Gardens. I don't even know if they own it.
Are we gonna get hockey on FX?
No, you're not. You're gonna
Why
get
not?
hockey. Well, because NBC owns your ish.
Rogers owns that. But I still get FX.
Yeah, but you don't get FX Canada.
Oh, there's a special Canada version?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fantastic. It's reruns after reruns after reruns. So you can watch The Americans and then 7 episodes of It's Always Sunny, and then some other things.
So when did the Simpsons marathon end?
Yeah, that hasn't started. We don't have FXX.
Oh, you don't have the extra X.
No, we don't. That's the.
When does that get shipped up there?
About 3 years. It took 11 years before FX Canada came up, so I'm assuming it's going to take that long for that extra X to come up. God willing, obviously, but
yeah.
We'll see how it all goes. With Canadian TV, who knows how long it's going to be up here and how long it's going to take to get up here. So we'll see how that plans out. But yeah, no Simpson marathon for us. We just have to do it the old way, the YouTubes. Oh well, what can you do? So yeah, we are ready. The prospect tournament's going on. Have you been excited for prospect tournaments?
Love prospects.
Yeah.
The prospects are my favorite part of camp. Not really.
No.
I don't know. Prospect tournaments. It's just one of those things that leads up to the year. It's all preseason to me, because a lot of these guys, if you get attached to them, and they get cut, then then it's just a little piece of your heart you're never gonna get back. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah. That's for darn sure. A little
So I
bit
just let them
dramatic.
go. I just let them go do their thing. Don't know who they are most of the time. If they wind up on the team, great. We make up a nickname for them and we go on from there.
It's probably his two initials and his number. Um,
That seems to be the theme so far. Unless your last name is Beagle, and then we just bark at you.
that's perfect, honestly. If you don't have the dog pound up there, I don't know what's going on with you guys up in those upper decks, but that's something you need to do. Unless you guys wanted to be Rick Steiner and be the dog-faced gremlin. There's always that option as well.
That's true.
Um, yeah. How was your week other than the Demos winning the AL East?
It's pretty good. Pretty good week. Can't complain. It was relaxing. First relaxing weekend in quite a while. So sat on the couch all day Sunday and watched football and went to Annapolis on Saturday to watch some soccer. And that was really about it. How about you, Scotty?
I bowled Thursday and saw the kid for her birthday on Friday
Mm-hmm.
and party on Friday night in her honor. I say that so I don't feel like a complete idiot going out to a dance club at age 31. I realize in that swing at clubbing, I am not as young as I once was, and I
Says
never
Toby
had
Keith.
exactly and Red Solo Cup, all that other fun stuff. America. Also, I never had coordination. Even in high school, not a good dancer. Those mixers, that was not a good scene for me. But I hung out for some of them for the chick aspect of it. So, in hindsight, going to the dance club probably not the best idea for me. That's for damn sure. But it happened, and it'll probably happen again in the near future. But never as fun as you think it is. It's a great idea when you get a couple wobbly pops in you, and then you're actually there, and it's just, yeah, this was not a good idea to come to a dance club. Drinks are how much? All right, go fuck yourselves. So that's kind of the situation I was in. That was an all right time, and then yeah, work never done, and no snow this week, so that's always good too. So yeah, that was the gist of my week: partying and bowling. Yay.
That's always good when, you don't get snow, when you don't want snow.
Especially in early September. Now that we're in mid-September, we've crossed the precipice of September. No going back anymore. Yeah, you don't. I don't like snow at all. I'm not a fan of it. Let it wait till November, and then it can snow, and we'll be fine. But this early September shit, no, I'm not having any more of it. And if it happens again, I'm going to build a weather dominator, much like in GI Joe, and then start to control the weather. So,
Nice.
I think it's doable with
You
all the
did move to Calgary,
yeah
just so you know.
yeah no voluntarily and still up here voluntarily. So no one to blame but myself. Sure, but at the same time, I like blaming other people for the mess ups in my own life. So that's how like in the whole compressor case. If that happened, like I did. I blame Sam Apple, somebody else. So as long as they're scapegoat. I'm fine. That's actually the credo on the Wazalewski crest. As long as there's a scapegoat, it's going to be fine. So it's
As long
always
as it's not me.
exactly. It's a motto we live by, we die by, and we often get out of trouble by. So there we go. It's how it all works out in the end. Yeah. So that was it. That's the story of Kwanzaa. Yeah, we were gonna have a fun time. It's interesting that yeah, it's kind of odd that Johnny P is gonna be on again, off again for the next couple weeks, and yeah, it's gonna be. We have only one Patanza. I was gonna start the show and be like I was gonna be two Patanzas short of an Italian wedding. I don't know what that meant, but real quick. Also, I
Well,
wanted to.
we're always two Patanzas short whenever only one of us are here.
You. What does that even mean? I want to rip on these hats, man. Like I have a fat head. Not like one of those stickers you put on there. This is a 7.5 fitted hat. And it's still like crushing my head. Also, these like 56 or 5950 brims could be the worst brims to try to flex because it's like literally like paper cardboard, and you're just flexing. If you don't flex it right the first time, you're screwed.
Well, are
So,
they meant to be flexed? Is the question.
well, yeah, this is the BP cap, right? So you gotta put a little flex on it. Get the sun out of your eyes when you're taking BP. You're out there.
The kids these days don't flex their hats anymore.
Oh, trust me, I know. I've got some fashion caps. Ah, this is more comfortable. Um, as I got some fashion caps in Orioles fashion, two of them actually. The one with the Maryland flag on the brim. You can't crush that. That's just stylish.
Right.
And there's another one where I have some kind of crazy Oriole one with the Oriole bird on the inlet, and yeah, you don't crush that one. That's a fashion one too. But yeah, this one you would think this is the on-field one. And, the guy, if you look at the players, some of them flex their hat unless you're Fernando Rodney, and then you don't flex your hat and you tilt it 70 degrees to the side.
Yeah.
Which is that crazy bastard. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to flex it. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm a guy over 26 and white, so I'm gonna flex my hat regardless of what it is. So that seems to be the style of the white people. We
Yeah.
love to flex our hats.
I bend the hat.
You have to. I mean, we're of that era where we bent the hat all the time for the baseballs and the stuff like that. So
Yes.
I think it's been told where the studies are that people over 25 are ones that are more apt to bend their brim because that's how we grew up. Because you grew up flexing your brim. As I'll get another one of the caps that I have. By the way, for the folks at home, I do have about 70 ball caps, all of them over there in the closet, and of different variety and species. Where we flex our caps, where you flex it like this, and how I was taught is you flex it like this if you want to get a good flex on it, because the more flex you had, the cooler you were back in the day. You put the fitted end over top of it, and booyah, you got yourself a little football.
It's a nice little compact hat there.
It is, and then it flexes your brim, and then you adjust your brim accordingly from there. So yeah, it was always about the flex brim, and yeah, that's the story of how Scotty wears all his hats. And yeah, it's an intriguing story for everyone, sure. It's funny, I buy all these hats and I only have one head to wear them on. Really weird. It's really, really odd. I don't know how that's odd or intriguing or interesting. That's just something I thought I'd share because I have nothing else to say, and there's no way to transition from that. But I tell you what, at least my head's not just a hat rack, which is what some other NHLers are putting into a lawsuit as the woes continues for the NHL and a concussion case. And apparently the lawyers for this concussion case, now we mentioned this, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago, about how there's these fun lawsuits about the NHLers who used to play who are now having some brain damage. One of the players in this new lawsuit case, Sasha Podoluk, remember him?
I do.
Former Caps first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in this new lawsuit in which the lawyers are trying to say 3 in 10 NHL players either have or will suffer brain damage in some part of their life.
Wow. 30%.
30%, man.
I know that because I'm not an NHL player and I have not suffered brain damage.
I know that because the article I was reading told me so. But yeah, apparently all these guys who, Podolak and another guy, Simon Denis Pepin, they are guys who had minor league careers and didn't make it to the NHL, and apparently are suing the NHL because they didn't make it to the NHL and blaming head injuries. So there's that. I don't know. I love how these lawsuits are just coming out of the wild.
Yeah.
And not out of Minnesota.
No.
Yeah, I don't. What is this? Just frivolous lawsuits, or can we call? Is Josh Berman available that we can call and say, hey, what's all with these frivolous lawsuits?
I'd like to know where all of this is coming from, because I mean, we always knew that people always try to make a buck when they can. You don't see people who get concussions a lot that are still playing in the NHL doing this. So it seems to me it's the players that were never good enough to hack it, that are trying to still make a buck off the NHL that are filing lawsuits. Now, granted, player safety is very important. Um, you never want to see somebody get hurt, but at the same time, you're a professional. You signed a contract. You're getting paid to do something. With that, an inherent risk of getting hurt or getting a concussion is kind of understood. So the fact that you are surprised that you got a concussion in a sport where people are skating, skating each other at 15 to 20 miles an hour and running into each other at full speed, yeah, you should have known.
The interesting situation is that they're going after the league rather than like the helmet companies. You would think that the helmet companies are the guys that are the ones that would, be able to give you the money that you want because they're not making the product good enough to prevent concussions, even though they come out every single year with these new helmet technologies to make your dome a little bit safer. But I don't know, something about it that's just it seems just cash grabby to me.
Right, exactly. I completely agree with you. It's and they're not suing the helmet companies because the helmet companies, all they're doing is providing a product that is, it's not their fault that the concussions are happening. It's their product that is meant to reduce concussions, and they never say that they can prevent them or completely eliminate them. They just are there to reduce concussions, reduce injuries. The NHL is at fault because of the rules that they put in place, apparently, which is, I'm guessing, how they're going to phrase it to try and get money out of them. But I go back to the point is, like, you knew what you were getting into, so how are you, like, I don't understand how you are going to go about forming an argument to win a case where you knew what the inherent risks were when you signed up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like this is a new fun. Like honestly, in this day and age, you sneeze too hard, you're gonna get a concussion. It has nothing to do with any. Like, it's just the brain bouncing off your skull. So,
Yeah, that's it.
You have a big sneeze, you're screwed. What are you gonna do? You're gonna sue your own body? You're gonna sue your own body for damages? Come on.
Yeah, come on. You knew what was going to happen when you sneezed.
Exactly. Your brain's going to go against the front of your head because, you're allergic to things. So stop being allergic to things, I guess, is the real point of this.
Yeah. So sue Zyrtec, right? Sue the allergy companies because, they don't prevent your allergies well enough, and you sneezed and got a concussion. That's essentially what we're looking at. I mean, except you're not suing the allergy medicine companies because that would be the people who make the helmets. Instead, what you're doing is you're suing you're suing your antihistamine. You're suing your histamines.
But hey, we don't want to be called sexist, so histamines as well.
Yes.
Yes, his and histamines. So there we go. In any case, speaking of big-headed guys, Bill Daly and Paul Holmgren, they won the Lester Patrick Award for, I guess, spreading hockey in the U.S. So good for them. Good for.
Yay!
Good job.
Isn't that? I thought Lester Patrick was the award that you get when you score a lot of goals and the players like you.
No, that was the Lester B. Pearson, and then that turned into the Ted Lindsay Award.
Oh, Pearson. Yes.
Yeah, like the airport.
Yes. Gotcha.
Sorry.
Too many awards. There's too many awards in hockey named after people. You ever notice that? I mean, It's not like it's the Lombardi Trophy in the NFL, and that's about it. You just get called the MVP if you're the MVP, or your debut All-Pro team. In baseball, you're just called the MVP. In basketball, I think you're just called the MVP.
Yeah, college football has that too, where they have old players named after awards that named after old players.
The Butkus Award for the best linebacker.
The Ed Block Award for the guy who blocks a lot. It's not just a clever name. That's the Ed
But
Block Courage Award. But
but
anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
the NHL makes up awards for guys that they think they want to have on an award.
Mark Messier.
Let's see, a leadership award.
Leadership Award.
Exactly.
Remember that thing was a monthly thing, and we just was like, oh God, not another month of this garbage.
Like,
So
did anybody really like Lady Bing? I don't think so.
no, I don't. I heard she was. I heard she was a real bitch.
Yeah,
To
but
be honest with
apparently
you.
she was really nice all the time.
Is there a history of Lady Bing? Let's look this up. Um,
It's like, as a matter of fact, she was like the least bit, and therefore got an award named after it for her.
the trophy is named after Marie Evelyn Morden, the wife of Viscount Byng of Vimy, a Vimy Ridge war hero who was the Governor General of Canada from 1921 to 26.
Okay.
Lady Byng was an avid hockey fan, dedicated the trophy to the NHL in 25. She decided the first trophy winner would be Frank Neighbor of the Ottawa Senators. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see what she actually contributed. Okay, Dear Wicked, we never run ads, survive on donations. All right, enough of you, Wikipedia. Blah blah blah. Best known for donating the trophy. She appreciated the gentlemanly play and good sportsmanship, and wanted to encourage and reward it. At the end of his term of Governor General, Lord and Lady Byng returned to England, but she returned to live in Canada with friends after his death in 1935. She spent time working at thrift shops in Ottawa during the war and wrote her biography Up the Stream of Time. And then Lady Byng died June 20th, 1949 in Ottawa. A 2-4 march for bagpipes was composed in honor of Evelyn Byng, Viscountess Byng of Vimy. So there you go.
And as we all know, the great grandmother of Chandler Bing.
Exactly. Much like the Lady Byng, no one knows what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Good for Lady Byng to go back and inspire Macklemore to write a song years later.
And what is that?
Thrift shop. It was.
Yeah.
So there you go. Away we go. You learned a little history there, kids. Only on the Face Off Hockey Show will you learn about Lady Byng and what she did and didn't do. So, away we go. What Daniel Alfredson's probably not going to do is attend Detroit Red Wings camp, as he has suffered a setback and may have to be forced to retire due to back injuries. And we have heard on this show before from Lyle and from other sources that Daniel Alfredson's only going to play for the Red Wings, and if he can't play for the Red Wings this year, then peace in the Middle East. He is out of here, and a complete leader. He'll have an award named after him. The Daniel Alfredson wait until next year award.
Yes.
And we'll go from there.
The Daniel Alfredson Sucker. I'm a Sucker Award.
Daniel Alfredson Best Quaff Award.
For sticking around Ottawa for so long. For so little money. A sucker.
So little. A sucker's bet.
I spent the best years of my career in that place.
Exactly. Now, none of my friends are there anymore. It's really weird. Chris Phillips is there, but we all know why we don't like him. Glug glug. That's not true. I apologize. I don't know why I insinuated that. The Montreal Canadiens, Les Habitants de Montreal. Instead of naming a captain and some alternates, they named four alternates. The Four Horsemen. Woo! Of alternates. They will be Andrei Markov, PK Subban, Matt Pacioretty, and Brian Giunta. So they got that going. I think it was Brian Giunta. You know what? That's a great question. That's a great question, Scott. Way to raise it to yourself. Trying to figure out first off if Brian Giunta is still on the team. Lyle is listening to this and just completely hating us. He's yelling at the screen. Why are you not knowing this? So yeah, a lot of people wondering why there's not a captain. Probably because there's no one good enough to be a captain right now. Thomas Plekanec, that's the number 14 I was thinking of. So Plekanec, Markov, Subban, and Pacioretty will be the alternate captains. Considering those options, Markov's not going to be there for long. Pacioretty and Plekanec, you could have made a case for them. Subban, could have made a case just for hype. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good idea for them not to have a captain, despite it being Montreal Canadian. All things considered, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. We'll get Lyle's take on it when he comes on here in about half an hour's time, and go from there. Your thoughts on not having a captain, especially for a team like Montreal?
What are you gonna do? I like the co-captain by committee approach, and it makes it so that PK Subban doesn't get too full of himself too quickly.
There it
So,
is.
because he's going to be the captain at some point. I mean, let's be honest. But you don't want the same thing to happen to him and the Canadians that happened to Ovechkin and the Capitals by giving him too big a head too quickly, by making him captain and making him think that the team revolved around him and its success revolved around him, which of course it does. But you can't let him think that.
Yeah, no, and I couldn't have said it better myself, because the minute you give him that C, the expectations are going to be on him, and he's already getting paid, so why does he really care if he has the C or not? But yeah, no, but you put it perfectly, and don't give him a big ego, because this kid is very fragile in terms of, or I wouldn't say fragile. What's the word I'm looking for? Impressionable. There it is. Very impressionable, because if he feels he gets that C and he gets more important than the team, then away we go. We're losing ourselves a defenseman and all the pressure and all that other fun stuff. So, fun times in Montreal. It's better than what the Minnesota Wild used to do, which was a new captain every month.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, man. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's just like, why rotate the captaincy there? Oh, we want everyone to be a leader. Yeah, don't name a captain then, dude. Don't give it to Brad Bombardier one month, and then next thing you know, Wes Walz is the captain in February, not January, and next thing you know, it's Darby Hendrickson, and you know, Andrew Brunette ends up with it in April, and you're wondering why the hell can't we have a playoff position? Oh, that's right, we don't have a true leader in the room. Shout out Manny Fernandez for being the goalie on that team. I don't know why.
Do you think that one true leader in the room, a Kim Jong-il in the room, if you will, is always necessarily a good thing?
Depends on the situation. I think in a place like, I'll go Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh it was a squad when they won it all. They had a lot of veterans in that room, and it was a lot of guys who were talking up. But I'm trying to think of a room that it was a Kim Jong Un situation, where he's just staring at things and pointing. The one true leader. Yeah, the one true leader. That's still, by the way, that's still my favorite Tumblr. There's two favorite Tumblrs that I have. Kim Jong Il points at stuff, and then Kim Jong Il drops the base, where it's just pictures of Kim Jong Il on the stage pointing and dropping the base with DJs.
Nice.
Could be the greatest Tumblr of all time. No, that's a lie. It's Macho Man versus Everyone is one of the greatest Tumblrs of all time.
I'll have to check both of them.
They're quite fantastic, I must say. Where my action figure Randy Macho Man Savage beats up other action figures. It's quite tremendous. So yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a situation where one true leader has really helped the whole thing. It's broken a lot of teams apart. I know that much, and created a rebellion and uprising. So maybe it's not the best idea to have one true leader. Although you have to have one ring to rule them all, which I think is the Stanley Cup ring.
It's true.
Yeah, that is truth. That's canon for any.
And clearly, someone with a Stanley Cup ring has everything that you need to be a captain.
Exactly. To which end we have to name Jared. Someone has to sign Jarrett Stoll and put him as a captain. He's got 2 rings, for Pete's sake. So does Colin Fraser. So there you go. Colin Fraser, the Adam Morrison of the NHL, where he's got 2 rings. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Adam Morrison.
And he cries a lot?
He does. He's got a bad mustache and he cries a lot. These things happen. I still can't believe Adam Morrison had, for a time there, had more rings than LeBron. That's a shocking development.
I wonder if that served as motivation.
For LeBron?
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, if that's not going to motivate him, I don't know really what could. Um, Especially going back to Cleveland now, I don't know what's going to motivate this guy. He's already surpassed that. He's tied with Adam Morrison, I think, now for number of rings, with 2. So who's to say one way or the other? We'll find out. We'll find out this year as he takes the court with the Cavs, the new look Cavs with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving's back, and they're going to get 17 other people. It's going to be great. Basketball talk will be next after this.
Yeah, I have no idea.
On the All In Broadcasting Network.
Kevin Love sounds like a great late night DJ.
Kevin Love and the Special Sauce, man. That was an indie band in Virginia. Remember them? Oh wait, no, that was G Love and Special Sauce.
That was G Love.
Yeah. Man, that was a jam band. G Love and Special Sauce. Them and Jimmy's Chicken Shack and Good Charlotte were like the babies HFS had there in the 90s. Remember Jimmy's Chicken Shack? Who doesn't? It's a great time.
Yeah, man. Jimmy's Chicken Shack was at like every HF festival that ever happened.
Yeah. Even the ones that happened after HFS was dead and no longer a rock station. And that was the interesting part about it. And they're just hanging out in the parking lot of RFK and just playing. That's HF Festival, playing What Do I Do all the time. So, yeah, Jimmy's Chicken Shack. I think I got a CD in there. I don't think it's really re-listenable. So, at least I have a CD of him, I guess. I don't know. Speaking of things I don't know about, did you hear about all these rule changes that went on this past week, Mark?
Yes, I did.
Oh
yeah.
Boy, howdy! Oh, let's get started on this. First and foremost, the big news: the Spinorama in the shootouts no longer.
How sad.
Thanks for coming out, shootouts. You know, I don't know how to feel about this. I thought it was cutesy and stuff like that to begin with. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna miss it because it's very rare that anybody could pull it off correctly. And if they did, it took them 47 seconds to do the actual spinorama, because not guys are fast turning around and trying to whip the puck around. So.
Yeah, and I mean the keepers caught up to it. Most of the time, they could see it coming and poke it away or just get in position. But when it was pulled off, it was a thing of beauty. Now, what I don't understand is, so they took it out of the shootout, but technically the rules had been in place all along that this was supposed to be not allowable. The puck clearly in the rules says that the puck always has to be moving forward, and in a spinorama situation, the puck is not moving forward when it goes behind your body. So technically it's been illegal all along. This is not really a rule change. It was just never enforced.
Well, the way they got around it is the officials said, and they looked at the handbook saying, it doesn't say it has to be forward per se, it just has to be constantly moving. The puck cannot stop and you go around it situation. The puck still has to be moving, and that's how they kind of covered up that bullshit. But yeah, it's something I'm not going to completely miss because, yeah, a lot of people were dicey about it to begin with. It's cute and exciting, but leave it for the All-Star game. Let that be your skills competition All-Star game breakaway goal. And then booyah, go from there. Bigger fine for the diving situations. Going up incrementally all the way up to $5,000. So there's that. I don't know. The whole thing about shaming people into being divers and stuff like that hasn't worked in the past. I don't know if it's going to work that much in the present either. So I don't know. I guess good work. I don't know how to feel. Diving is going to be there. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm cynical and think it's regardless of what you do, it's always going to be there.
Well, diving will always be there for sure. But what we're trying to do, I think, is so really they didn't give the referees the go-ahead to give a penalty for diving. I mean, they already can, but they're not trying to crack down on the diving during the game so much as reprimanding afterwards. Is that sort of what I'm getting from here?
Yeah, it's more of a hindsight kind of situation where if you get, it's not so much the penalty. If you don't get caught, then you pulled one off for your team. but they want to make sure that the guys that are diving, are put on notice almost. Like, hey, we see you when you like. It's like the what's the group? Not the SEC. That they play great football though. Oh God, not the CIA. They're off of 32. Going down
NSA?
there it is, NSA.
There you go.
NSA, like you may not think we see you, but we see you, kind of situation. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. I don't think it deters anybody, to be quite honest with you. Even if it escalates up to $5,000 per dive, I think some guys will be easy to eat that properly. So see how it goes. I don't think it's going to drop any diving down whatsoever. But this one's interesting. Bigger trapezoids for the goalies. Yay, trapezoid!
Just as Martin Brodeur was retiring.
Exactly. You
That's
get
a shame.
2 extra feet now to not be able to touch the puck. So
Was this like? I love that the goalies are just getting like, all right, you guys are too good. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna decrease the size of your equipment. Crap, they're still really good. Okay, we're gonna decrease the size of your equipment again. Crap, they're still really good. All right, let's stop letting them play the puck everywhere. Okay, let's reduce their equipment size again. Okay, damn, they're still really good. All right, let's make that trapezoid bigger. Like, pretty soon they're going to be like, you can't use your left hand, and you must use a regular player stick. Like, how much farther is this going to go?
Here's how far it's going to go. Hey, guys, remember bubble hockey in the ice rinks when you were a kid? Yeah, we're going to shove a rod in your back to your pants, and you can only move side to side.
And the fans in the bleachers behind you are going to control you.
Exactly, and this is how it's going to be. Deal with it. So just make sure you don't get caught off guard, or you're going to break an ankle if you get juked properly enough. Yeah, it's getting crazy, dude. Like I don't know, the trapezoid has always been something where it's like, why do you need it? No need to, unless you're going to make that like a no-hit zone, and why even have it there? So whatever. NHL just doing what they just want to put lines on the ice. Video review, getting more clout. The War Room in Toronto will have a lot more control into telling referees what to do and to a little bit, I guess, coach what they're trying to do in order to, I guess, make sure the video reviewers or the play is right. So essentially what they're doing is getting rid of human error. So this is all going to be controlled by computers, and
Yes.
then maybe we go from 2 referees to no referees in a matter of years.
I welcome our computer overlords.
I welcome these computer
this is
overlords.
all right. On some level, this is a good thing. I mean, even when they instituted video review all those years ago, like they still got calls wrong, and you want to eliminate the wrong calls, but also you want to walk the line between eliminating the wrong calls and the game lasting 4.5 hours. So, I don't think that there's going to be any. I don't think that you're going to notice. As a fan, you're not really going to notice the fact that they have extra camera angles, or that they might review an extra play a game, if that is what it's going to come to. So I'm all for this.
Yeah, I like it. Are you all for kicked-in goals being more liberal? As
Again,
a soccer fan,
again,
how do you feel?
Well, it's not that they're changing. This is, again, they're not changing the rules. Like, they're just enforcing them more or less. I can't really figure out which way they're going on this one, but like the rules already in place. It's pretty crystal clear what the wording says. It's just the interpretation of the rule. Like, is it a kicking motion? Is it not a kicking motion? I don't know. Well, it's not going to change. They're still going to have the same topics, and they're still going to have the same discussions. Like, this rule change, I don't think is going to do anything. I don't think it's going to do anything.
How about the hash marks being closer together?
I don't care. I mean, it's the Olympic hash marks, all right?
Yeah.
Look, when you're taking a face-off, clearly this is they definitely look to make sure that. I mean, these are the hash marks we're talking about, right? the
Yeah.
face-off hash marks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The referees clearly make sure that your feet are in the right place when you're taking a face-off.
So much so that
Obviously,
people get angry at the linesman.
right.
Um, how about this one? How about Epics getting 24/7?
I am
Oh,
not gonna go out and order Epics. I'll tell you that much. Just for
wow.
24/7.
Wow, yeah, Epics. If you don't know, the 24/7 series, HBO said thanks, but no thanks. We're not going to be doing this again. So the NHL, doing as they usually do, go from typical point A or rational point A in HBO and bypass rational point B, which is Showtime, and go to irrational point Q and pick Epix, which is a newish cable system, which I only know because there's a lot of comedians who have their special in Epix first and then distribute it out that way. It's also a movie channel and all other fun stuff. But not a lot of people have it. As you heard from Mark, he's not going to go out and get it just because of 24/7.
Now, which I'm sure the NHL is getting some sort of kickback from Epix, or Epix is paying a lot of money thinking that the NHL fans are going to subscribe to see the NHL Winter Classic show. I don't think the interest is going to be there this year. I think it was I think almost sort of like the Winter Classic, the bloom is off the rose, so to speak. Is that how the word goes? Is that how the phrase goes?
I don't care. It sounded good.
It's a
Go with
kiss
it.
from a rose.
Right, Seal. Shout out Heidi
Great.
Klum.
Yeah. So I don't think that people are going to go out and go running out to subscribe to Epix just so they can see 4 episodes of a build-up show to a hockey game.
Yeah, especially this year where there's not really that much of a rivalry in terms of the Caps and Blackhawks. And I mean, yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about this whole thing. Because we have Rogers and we're going to have 17 different channels to do that.
Yeah.
It's going to be on FX all day Thursdays. It's going to be 24/7 Thursdays, 24/7. Yeah, I don't know. I think the 24/7 train has run its course. And I actually like the idea that NBC Sports Network does in that NHL 36, where they follow around a player for 36 hours. Like, that concept is a little bit more intriguing to me than like 24/7, where you're following teams around in the build-up to a game that's kind of lost a little bit of pizzazz. And also, one of the reasons that HBO kind of dropped it is because the NHL wanted HBO to do a 24/7 kind of thing for the Sharks Kings game in San Jose or San Francisco. So that was a big deal, and HBO's like, all right, enough. We don't want this anymore. We'll see you later. I don't know if Epix is going to pick it up and do something like that, but yeah, so that was another stumbling block. But a lot of people are equating this to when they did the OLN deal, which then turned to Versus, which then turned to NBC Sports Network, where NHL is just going to this random thing that's going to give them money. And I guess depending upon how you look at it, the OLN thing kind of worked out very well for the NHL. They caught a break because NBC decided to buy everything. I mean, I don't know, good idea or not. Like I'm with Mark. The bloom is off the kiss from a rose and George Clooney's nipples.
Yes,
In that
totally.
movie. So
100%.
here we go. Away we are with that one. All right, let me see if I can go ahead and hit the Twitter and see if we've actually got. Apparently, the Blue Jays are showing a lack of class when they're getting eliminated. I don't know. I'll have to read that later. In any case, I'm trying to find the jerseys for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The third jerseys are supposed to be out today, and I'm trying to find out if they're actually out or not. Therein lies the hook. But in any case, that leads me to this. The NHL is saying no to jersey ads. Have you heard about this? Does this excite you at all?
No to jersey ads. Go on.
All right, so apparently the ads on jerseys are a big deal, and the NHL doesn't want to be the first team to do something like that.
Even though the MLS has already done that. Okay.
Yeah, well, listen, they apparently a lot of people citing the Big Four in sports.
NASCAR clearly has already done that.
They have jumped shark with that.
I think golf on some level has already sort of done that too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
not
but
that they really had names and numbers or anything, but
I think they're more main. They're not as mainstream. There are a lot of banks, like a lot of trust funds, going on there. Like Nipples McGee over there has a little bit of issue.
who's Nipples McGee?
Phil Mickelson.
Ah,
Um, so the big thing is just I don't know. I think they said the NHL doesn't want to be one of the big four sports to introduce it, but they also said that in crunching the numbers, it could mean for another $4 million per team to get stuff on the jerseys. So that's good for revenue, but at the same time, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Would you like to see ads on jerseys, much like the Europeans have done?
I would love to see ads on jerseys for multiple reasons. Obviously, bring more money into the teams so that they stop complaining about how they're all losing money. Um, Honestly, I think this would be a good thing for everyone. Um, you could do what soccer has done and eliminate some of the TV. Well, not that the cable companies are making any money if the teams have logos on their jerseys, but I think that financially you could work it out so that there's less commercial breaks, or shorter commercial breaks, or you know something along the lines of what soccer has done to streamline the play of the run of play a little bit. Um, but more money into the league is always a good thing. I don't understand why anyone would be opposed to this idea. I mean, the Canadians jerseys would look weird having, like, for instance, you know I don't know what a Canadian company is, but having something on the bottom of their jerseys, like on the back side of their jerseys, would look strange. But the Reebok jerseys, when they shifted to the form-fitting Reebok jerseys from the CCM jerseys, that looks strange. So eventually, everyone's going to get used to it, and it's going to be the norm, and everyone's going to be rolling in money.
Yeah. And I don't. I mean, there's little patches on the AHL jerseys, like on the upper shoulder, um, area where opposite of where the captain's C and A would be. So and it's nothing too big, and you can also have it at the bottom hem of the jerseys where that's there too. But it's not something that's delightfully tacky. But yeah, I'm with you. Why the hell would you deny money? So whatever. Um, but I don't get a lot of the things the NHL does, so I can't really say shit, right? So
Right.
who am I? Who am I, Mark? I just do a podcast. I do several podcasts and a radio show.
Yeah, who are we? You know what I
Who
mean?
are
We're
we?
nobodies. Our ideas never work. Dollar
No,
beer nights would never
none,
work.
none. By the way, the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey going to be unveiled September 27th. I was way off on that one. Minor league hockey theme night. Ooh, I'll have to send this to myself for
You
for
do
the
that.
I will for the farm report, which by the way, getting rave reviews for the better know a better know an affiliate. There it is. My own concept. I don't know what the hell's going on. Better know an affiliate situation going on there. So people love it. By the way, the looking at this on January 20, the Toledo Walleyes could be the Gimmick Kings now, Mark.
Yeah,
They're doing a Batman night.
I do love Batman.
They're doing a Cosby Sweaters on Ice night.
I do love Cosby sweaters.
Who doesn't? And that's it so far. But other gimmicks, the Evansville Icemen are wearing the ratio of pi on March 14th on the back of their jerseys.
Okay, why?
Um, blah blah blah. Pi Day, it's a thing math teacher present, or maybe blah 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 ratio, blah blah blah. Particularly interesting this year because next two digits in sequence are 1 and 5, 3 4 1 5. You don't round up, or March 14th, 2015. So the Evansville Icemen are cashing in on Pi Day jerseys. It's a new one even for me. No one knows what the Pi Day jerseys are going to look like, Mark. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm guessing pi.
Let's hope so. I hope
I'm
it's just an
guessing.
actual.
I'm guessing it's gonna just have pi with many digits all around the jersey,
I
and
hope it's
just
just
put
like
a lot of digits of pi around the jersey.
Oh, it was just blueberry pie, to be quite
I
honest
hope,
with you.
actually, really, I just hope it's that too.
The Lake Erie Monsters are going to be having a Cavaliers night, so they'll be wearing a Cavaliers kind of jersey. And this one could be the coolest of them all. Charlotte Checkers are going to be having Charlotte Hornets night, and it's going to be purple and teal jerseys. That could be the most badass thing we've seen this year.
That's pretty awesome.
This is far and above and beyond what the Bakersfield Condors are doing, which is the puffy shirt night, the puffy jersey night, because they don't want to be pirates.
So wait, going back to the Hornets, is Muggsy Bogues going to be there the same way that Manute Bull was on skates for that other team? I want Muggsy Bogues there for the Hornets.
He might. You never know. God willing, he will be. Because he could probably actually crack a lineup at 5'4" with the Charlotte Checkers. So yeah, I like where this is going, in general. And then now that you bring up Muggsy Bogues, I'm thinking maybe we can get Grandma Ma. Maybe
There you go.
Ma out there.
Let's make it a reunion.
Why not? Get Zoe, get Alonzo Mourning out there, get Rex Chapman. That's all the Hornets I can name actually.
Yeah, I don't know any either.
And you know what? That's all the Hornets you need. All the Hornets you need. Also, finally, the Edmonton Oilers hired a skating coach, Mark.
And who is it?
And, well, in the past, teams have hired speed skaters to improve strength in the legs. They've hired some other old hockey pros, some other skating coaches. The Edmonton Oilers go in a different route. They decided to hire David Pelletier, who is an Olympic medalist in figure skating.
Okay.
To help the Edmonton Oilers.
It's you know what? I do not. Oh, you said figure skating, not speed skating. Oh.
Yeah, no, figure skating. Yeah, no,
Okay.
twirly. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know where this is going to help the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know if they're going to do like a pairs figure skating situation and then do a tandem that way. I don't know how this is going to prove their unless they're going for gracefulness rather than speed because they think they have the speed already. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I guess good for Pelletier for getting on this horse, and the Edmonton Oilers are just hiring people every which way. So I guess why not, right?
Right. Totally. So now they have an advanced stats guy and they have a figure skater. Those were their two big acquisitions of the offseason.
Dude, everybody's being picked up. TSN just hired like 4 more bloggers to be on their analytics stats committee. So I don't know what the hell is going on. This is like a really odd time. Like you and I are going to be the last ones blogging, and you don't even blog that much.
And I don't even blog.
Yeah, it's the weird thing about this whole thing. So we're either going to get jobs with NHL teams, or it's just going to be we'll be the last ones to turn the lights out. We'll see. See how it all goes, gentlemen, as we now await the arrival of one La Richardson. We got a lot to talk about. Boy, freaking howdy. Man, oh man, shots were fired in Columbus, and I'm not talking about them testing out the cannons for a goal. Man, oh man, did Ish go down or did Ish go down?
I don't know. What happened?
We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait until Lau gets on, and we're going to have to talk to him about it.
Bastard.
Yeah, it's called a tease, Mark. It's called a tease.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Stop doing this to me. What are you doing? Give me a second. I got to call for a bit. Talk amongst yourself.
Okay. Well, as Scotty leans over and coughs, and see, what I would have done is just cough on mic, because really, what's the difference? We're all human here.
Because I'm a
Am I right?
goddamn broadcast. I'm courteous of our fans. They don't want to hear my shit.
Are our peas popping when we
sibilance? Wow, look at that. There's a Merrick vs. Wyszynski meetup in Toronto. So if you're Toronto, get in where you fit in. At Tall Boys Bar. That's a great name for a bar, by the way. Tall Boys Bar. It's no Queen Mary 2 where Joe Thornton beat somebody up at, allegedly. So, yeah. Yep.
Is that what it was? The Queen Mary?
No, that was actually what Tobias bought. The
Oh,
playhouse
that's right.
that Tobias bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it was called. It was something, but it had a two at the end. Um, yeah. I'm already previewing what we're gonna talk to Lyle about it when he gets on. I can send this tweet out. It's gonna be great. People are gonna love us. It's gonna be great. People are gonna, click on the show.
There he
Hey, and
is.
now I can send this tweet out because it's true. Lyle Richardson is joining us now on Face Off Hockey Show. Hi, Lyle.
Hidely ho!
Boy, did Ish go down in a big way today. Oh, doctor. Um, First and foremost, your thoughts on the Baltimore Orioles winning the AL East and go.
I have no thoughts.
Mm,
I, hooray,
okay.
huzzah, good for them. Doesn't
Uh,
mean a thing to me. Moving on.
the Edmonton Oilers hiring a figure skater as a skating coach rather than a speed skater.
That's not unusual at all. Figure skaters teach power skating all the time. That's gone back 45 years.
Mm,
You know,
I
seriously.
still think it's silly.
Oh,
Get a
you
speed.
may laugh, but no.
Where's Eric? Honestly, when it comes to the Oilers, I laugh anytime at their mention. We're gonna be good this year. Ah, you silly guys. You have no chance. What are you gonna
How the mighty have fallen.
do? Ooh, my goodness. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. Ryan Johansson and John Davidson going tete-a-tete. John Davidson throwing money out there and throwing contract stuff and calling this whole thing extortion. That's some strong words there, Lyle. Some strong
Oh, he
words
went
he's throwing
there.
out
He
there.
went there, my friend. Absolutely.
Boy,
Yeah, John Davis, as we know, JD not one to mince words. Yeah, and then releases the details of the contract offers that they made to Ryan Johansson as well. But yeah, that's not a ploy to cast the kid in a bad light at all. No. um, but you know what? At the end of the day, oh God. Okay, I've got to stop using that phrase. Okay, ultimately,
yeah, there it is.
ultimately, um, the kid's getting bad advice. This is his agent playing hardball. We talked about this last week. He's the same guy who represented Kyle Turris, 3 years ago with his equally contentious negotiations with the then Phoenix Coyotes. And, I'm sure that's going to have some people wonder, well, is that going to end, is the Johansson thing going to end the same way as the Kyle Turris situation did? They'll resign him and then trade him or just trade him. I don't believe that the Blue Jackets have any intention of trading him. I can see them, if this goes, right up to December 1st and the kid ends up being ineligible to play this season, the Jackets will just go, okay, we'll just look at this as we've lost him for the season to an injury and we'll carry on. We're not going to bend to, to what his agent wants. And to add insult to injury, I'm sure they'll then come back and go to the league, oh, by the way, when we negotiate this contract again for next, this is, this year didn't happen at all. You know what I mean? It's just going to be like, yeah, we're just going to carry on forward here. So as I said, I know that Kurt Eberhardt, or Overhart, sorry, Eberhardt. So I don't want to mispronounce the guy's name. I may disagree with how he does his business, but I don't want to.
But you have a little bit of monicum.
I don't want to insult the man by mispronouncing his name. No, Mr. Overhart. Know that he believes that once the season starts that the leverage will then shift to his client. But I said this last week as well, and I've said it throughout this week too, in discussing this with other people, that if the Jackets get off to a terrific start without Johansson, then that leverage is gone, and now the kid's going to have to make a serious decision. Does he want to keep adhering to what his agent wants? And try and go eyeball to eyeball right up to December 1st and run the risk of losing a year professionally. Because remember, he's not only ineligible to play in the NHL after December 1st, he can't play anywhere. No KHL, no Europe, no minor leagues, nothing. He cannot play anywhere professionally. So he's done for the season. And does he really want to run that risk and throw away a season where he could have been making money and building up his career for when the time comes when he can genuinely cash in big time? Ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. The kid's got to make this decision. Does he want to stick with what his agent is pressing him to do, or does he bend and accept 3.5 per season for 2 years, and then go and skate your ass off and prove that you're worth bigger money, and then cash in on the bigger deal later on?
Is there a way that Davidson or anybody in that organization is separating the fact that this kid, this isn't of his doing? Like, are they going to be able to bury the hatchet, knowing that at the end of this negotiation, whatever way it comes out, that it's not so much his fault, or are they going to hold that against him for choosing the agent that he did?
Well, it's going to be interesting because, of course, we only just hear what's gets revealed to the press. The media reports duly what each side is saying. So there's going to be speculation. How much is Johansson? Is this of his doing? How much of it is of the agent? We like to get this image of players just being sort of innocent dupes of the agent, if you will. And there are some who, quite frankly, just leave it all to their agent and trust them, and then all of a sudden they're like, what? I'm signing with the New York Islanders? The hell? Well, it didn't happen. They didn't give us the money we wanted. But you have players who tend to be more involved in various degrees of interest. So it remains to be seen. Just how much of this is Johansson's. I think Johansson's got a bit more interest in this than just his agent saying this, because back when the Blue Jackets initially offered him a 2-year bridge deal, he told the media he considered it a slap in the face. So I think that yes, I think that he's probably a little more actively engaged in this than I think some people believe. Some people might probably think, oh, well, it's all his agent. But ultimately, his agent is giving him advice. He is acting on the advice of his agent. So, as I said, this holds the potential for perhaps a bit of bad blood. I definitely think that when Johansson finally does sign that 2-year deal, that the next time that he ends up going for contract negotiations with the Blue Jackets, it will definitely be going to arbitration, because yikes, unless one side or the other is willing to bend, it can go to arbitration the next time, and then it's another 2-year deal, and then the nightmare continues. So this has the potential to be ugly for a while.
That could be one of the greatest arbitration cases since PK Subban came in. So that would be, especially with John Davidson shouting extortion from the mountaintops.
Yeah, that was strong, man. I read that this morning, and before I typed it up, verbatim on my site there, I just wanted to make sure that I was reading it right. It's like, did he really say extortion? I was like, no, no, that must be extension that he said. No, extortion, extension. Let's call the whole thing off. No, extortion, and that's listen. And that's the thing that's interesting too. John Davidson, at first when he was working in the St. Louis Blues front office, and then since he's moved over to the Blue Jackets, he hasn't gotten that involved, at least not to my memory, in the contract talks. At least in the media, he hasn't been overly critical one way or the other. He's sort of been there, and that he does have oversight and things like that into what's going on with the team, but. I can't recall an instance where he got this verbally involved in a player's contract talks.
And I have to say, when you look at what has happened since John Davidson's been in Columbus, you want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs talking about a culture change. This has been a huge culture change for the Blue Jackets, because now they have an identity. Now they have, I guess, a sense of pride in where they play, and John Davidson has brought that along with him, and I think that bringing him over and Jarmo Kekalainen, that was a big deal, trying to putting him in the GM position. I'm pretty sure I butchered his name, but whatever, these things happen.
Kekalainen.
Yeah, it's close enough. That's close enough for government work.
Sure.
Then I'll call him J Doggy from now on.
J Doggy. The J Dog isn't down.
Yeah, JYD is what we'll call him from this point on. But yeah, I mean that's a huge deal for what Columbus has been able to do, and I think that's it's good that they have a guy like this who's not gonna bend to especially when he's doling out numbers like he's doling out. He's
Mhm.
not gonna bend to what any agent's gonna try to run him over with. So good for John Davidson. Shout out
Mhm.
him.
Mhm.
Um, Let's talk a little bit about something we kind of branched off on last week, and thank God this broke before the show today. And that is the Minnesota Wild goaltending situation. Is now it has gotten a little bit foggier, as reports out of Minnesota that Josh Harding will be out for quote unquote months due to an ankle or leg injury. The interesting situation is that reports are saying that Minnesota is reaching out to Ilya Brizgalov
Mhm.
rather than Darcy Kumpler, who was the pretty much saving grace there and kept the Wild in it into the going into the playoffs. And when they acquired Brizgalov, I guess what is to make of is first off, is Brizgalov interested whatsoever in a Minnesota Wild position, especially considering that he's got Backstrom and Harding. Even though Harding's going to be out for a while, they're still waiting in the rings, and obviously he's going to get priority when he does come back. And then secondly, after the Brizgalov interest, what's Darcy going to do now? I mean, we talked about KHL last week. That now going to be his modus operandi going into trying to find a team now.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that they immediately go to Brizgalov rather than to tell Kemper, okay, yeah, this has changed, fine, we'll give you 1 year, $850K, that's what you're looking at on a one-way deal, fine. I can't. There's got to be some personality issues going on there. There really has to be. I mean, whether it's between Kemper and his agent and Chuck Fletcher, who's the GM of the Wild. I've been, because this is a real puzzler. I mean, it's not as if Kemper is asking for a ridiculous contract. He's not saying, I saved your season, you must pay me 5 years, $35 million. I mean, then it'd be like, okay, kid, go pound sand, you're out of here. We can do better. Or at least in the short term, we can do better. All he wants is a 1 year, one-way contract, which means that if he gets demoted to the AHL, that he still gets paid his NHL salary. It doesn't end up dropping to being $90,000. And considering that, as you said, Scotty, he basically he saved their season when they lost Harding and Backstrom to injuries, and the kid stepped in there, and for 2.5 months he saved their bacon. It is just so puzzling that Chuck Fletcher is playing hardball over a 1 year, one-way contract for $850,000. That's chump change. I mean, yeah, the Wild have invested a lot of money. They don't have a ton of cap space, but they have the cap space that they can afford this kid. So what's going on? I mean, did Darcy Kemper, did he insult Chuck Fletcher's family at some point? I mean, what did he do to deserve this? Because honestly, I would love to know, because this just doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. It doesn't make any sense why they're quibbling with a kid who just wants a 1 year contract that's going to cost $850,000 on a one-way deal. And when Josh Harding, gets sidelined for months with a busted foot, they don't immediately go to Kemper. They go to Ilya Brizgalov. So
it's baffling, and I mean
it is.
It's because I'm just looking at their salary cap right now. They're what, six? Looks like just under $7 million in cap space, and it's not like they don't have the room. And he's also waiver exempt for 14 more games.
Yeah. So I mean, I know. Listen, they could say, well, we have our own cap ceiling, blah blah blah. You're talking less than $1 million here. I mean, yes, for normal folks, that's not chump change. For a professional sports team, why are you quibbling over $850,000? Why are you trying to stick it to this kid? I mean, I would really love to know what he's done to deserve that kind of I think bullshit. I really do. There's hardball negotiation, and then there's just being a prick. And right now, I'm sorry, I got to call it the way I see it. Right now, Chuck Fletcher is acting like a prick.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're going to get a lot of people disagreeing with you. I mean, it's not this whole Ryan Johansson thing. It's polar opposite of it.
No, oh, absolutely. Big crowbar separation between those two situations. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, you've got a case where it's a player who, as I said, seems to be taking, getting some bad advice from his agent, and on the other hand, you got a kid who just basically, I think, earned a fair deal here and just isn't getting it.
Yeah. They're just too cheap. I mean, at least they signed Nino Niederreiter to a 3-year deal, so that they got
And
that
that
going for them.
and that was a totally fair deal. I mean,
Oh,
what
for
they
sure.
gave Niederreiter, that was completely fair. I mean, up to this point, and I have praised for the most part, the way the Wild have conducted their business in the last couple. I mean, yeah, the contracts they signed Parise and Suter to, 2 years ago, freaking ridiculous, but hey, it was under the auspice of the way the old CBA worked, so fine. They're willing to lay the money out. But overall, I like the moves that they've done. Yeah, they brought in veteran talent, but at the same time, they developed a really nice core of young players there. I mean, the Wild were a very exciting team last season, and especially in the playoffs. This is a team I think is going to make some noise this year. But to see again, I just don't understand why they're treating Darcy Kemper, the kid who saved their season, with such contempt.
It's an odd situation. I don't
Yeah.
try to figure out Minnesota because they've always been baffling to me, just in general. Like I mentioned earlier, just rotating captains once a month, that was weird to me too.
Yeah, that one was
Um,
kind of weird. Oh, yeah, I'll grant you that. That was definitely
yeah.
weird.
But it allowed me to have a Brad Bombardier drop, so I like that going for myself. But one guy who did get paid and who did get a decent contract and could very well screw a lot of the other defensemen, Justin Braun, gets a new deal in San Jose with a average accumulated value of $3.8 million. A nice little, a nice cozy nest egg for him. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this trickles down for other defensemen. I think this is a very affordable deal for San Jose to sign a pretty promising young defenseman.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, I mean, they like what they've seen from him so far. Excuse me. And they definitely believe that he's going to be a core part of their blue line for years to come. So and it's an affordable deal that they can run, and if he continues to develop and improve as he has, he's going to be, that'll be that deal could end up being totally worthwhile for the Sharks and for him.
There you go, making that cash. Got to make that cash. Got to make that dough,
Yes, sir.
as Margaret Thatcher once said.
No. She said, "Money, money, 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 money."
It was
I
it was
think
it
that
was
was her.
it was Lady Bing who said, "Cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar dollar bill." That's who I was.
So true.
Right. Yes, that's actually etched on a column in Parliament Hill in Ottawa. Yes.
Exactly, but Funkadelic Hill. That's the only problem.
Yeah, Parliament Funkadelic Hill. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Exactly.
Danny DeKaiser, Devontae Pelly, Smith Pelly signing with Detroit and Anaheim, respectively. I guess that's a big thing, especially for DeKaiser, because I think the Red Wings value him a lot. Smith
Yep.
Pelly, he's a guy. I don't know. I don't know how to make Smith Pelly out. He was up and down between Norfolk and Anaheim and played decently well in the playoffs.
Well, I
Again,
thought I thought he actually played very well in the playoffs when they put him on that line with Getzlaff and Perry. Now, of course, you can say, well, oh, yeah, you could put a stick, you could put a broom on that line, and it would play well. But no, I was actually quite impressed with his performance. And if they keep him on that line coming into the season, he could be poised for a significant breakout performance. So if so, that deal that he's on could. I mean, God, that'd be a crazy bargain in favor of them.
and I think also you can put him on a line with Kessler too, and he'd be able to go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I think that would probably work out well too.
I think someone that can dish the puck, because I think Smith Pelly is more of a shooter than a passer. So we'll see how that all.
Yeah, definitely shooter, banger. He's got power forward written all over him. This kid.
He's a thinner Dustin Bufflin in terms of just a guy who's going to go into the corners and
Mhm.
also score you a nice little goal and muck it up in front.
Yep.
So there's that too.
Yep.
Um, unless we got any more signings to talk about or any more contract, we can go right into our
Uh,
Central Division preview.
yeah, I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty much got her covered there, Scotty.
I gotta tell you, I lost my shirt in the Traverse City Prospect tournament. I bet on the Winnipeg Jets to win, and they weren't even there. So, man, did I get some wrong information. But the question is not if they're going to be there at the end of a prospects tournament, Lyle. Are they going to be there at the end of the regular season and going into the second season? The Winnipeg Jets. I think it's crunch time for Kevin Cheveldayoff right there because that's a team that definitely needs to have, I guess, some sort of payoff for
Yeah.
all this hype. We're in what, year 3, 4 of this team
Entering
being
year
there?
4 now. Entering season 4.
So the 5-year plan's almost up. What needs to be done? Obviously, there's a lot of distraction off the ice, whether man-made or otherwise. What can Kevin Cheveldayoff do with this team in order to not have this ship burn down in front of him?
Well, I think what he should have done is he should have gotten a better starting goaltender. Ultimately, that's where a lot of their problems lay. Andre Pavlik has just not proven him quality starting goaltender. Um, very, very. Oh, did you see this question very quickly from Matt
No,
Rigler regarding Ryan Johansson if he could go play in the KHL after December 1st? Okay.
answer that question then.
Yeah, I'll answer that very quickly. No, he cannot. As I mentioned earlier here in my segment, if he's still holding out after December 1st, he cannot play professionally anywhere. He's
Mm.
That's it for the season. Done. And there is an agreement between the two leagues. There is a memo of understanding between the two leagues. So yeah, done, done, done.
By the way, the questions list just popped up in a big, big way.
Mm.
They were having trouble with the server. Now I got questions about a BJ Serhoff and Scott Erickson award.
Yeah, I saw those earlier too.
Mark, you think about the BJ Serhoff award. Scott Erickson award is just the guy who's a psychopath.
Anyway, but getting back, to the thing about the Jets, and Pavlik, he's got this. This is, you talk about crunch time for Cheveldayoff. It's crunch time for Pavlik. This is the year. If he doesn't provide them with the type of goaltending that they need to be a serious contender for the playoffs this season, then he's going to be gone. And this could definitely be a threat for Cheveldayoff because, as he said, he's been patient with the team. I listen. I can respect that patience, especially when it comes to Evander Kane. I'm glad that he's not, sort of bowing to fan and media pressure who are calling for him to get rid of Kane. He's a troublemaker. He doesn't want to be there. Blah 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 blah. No. Stick with the kid. Be patient with him. The Jets have a lot of talent they've got the talent on their top two lines. I think that their first two defense pairings are coming together. I like the idea of keeping Bufflin up on the as a winger, and you can drop him back on the point of, for the power play. Definitely should not be a full-time defenseman. Because you would need to have, one of the elite shutdown defensemen playing alongside him in order for that to work, and they don't have that. So, keep him up there on the line. But as I said, I do think their top four defense is rounding into shape. I like the addition of Matthew Perreault as a third-line center. I think that could end up. I think you mentioned earlier in the summer, Scotty. I think you mentioned that could end up being one of the steals of the season. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, yeah. That sounds like something I would do.
No.
It's good. I say it sarcastically, and then I meant it. I really.
Yeah. Did he's looking back? Show 507 305. Did I actually say that? Shit. Yeah. But but you did, and I think you're right there because that was one of the big issues that they've had in the last couple of years was depth on their checking lines. It was lacking. I still think that's an issue, but I think bringing Perreault in is going to help. But ultimately, goaltending. That's what it's going to come down to. They've got a promising kid there in Michael Hutchinson. He's going to be their backup. I think if things get dicey with Pavlik, they'll probably give him a try. And but either way, it's going to come down to goaltending. And if Hutchinson, if he can't bail them out, if Pavlik struggles, then you're going to hear those James Reimer trade rumors flash up in a big way.
and I think that's really the big thing is that they don't have the safety net now Montoya anymore.
Yeah.
And all due respect to Hutchinson, who basically stole the Eastern Conference of the AHL for the St. John's Ice Caps. I mean, he is going to be thrown to the fire if Pavlik gets injured or he stumbles up. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. And I didn't realize how I knew that the Jets were deep on defense, but damn, they're super deep on defense. And
Yeah, much better than they've been in years. It's been slow to get. Well, having Jacob Trouba come in there,
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge for them last year. I think if he could have, if he hadn't been injured earlier in the season, that might have made. There were let's face, we got to be honest. There were a couple of what if scenarios there for the Jets last season that could have made a bit of a difference. They lost Mark. Oh God, Mark Scheifele. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, brain cramp. They lost Mark Scheifele in March to a knee injury. Trouba was hurt earlier in the season. Kane battled. He had wrist injuries and things like that, and that hampered him. I think if those three had been healthy throughout the season, might have. They probably still would have had a battle to get in the playoff, but at least their chances would have improved. I think, despite the crappy goaltending. But yeah, this year, I mean. I think with a healthier and a little more mature Jacob Trouba, I think Evander Kane's going to be motivated to silence his critics. I think Scheifele's going to continue his improvement. So they've got, as I've said, in the past couple of years, the talent is there. It's just a matter of improving that overall defensive depth and, more importantly, getting that quality goaltending. And again, that's what it's going to come down to. It's up to Pavlik or it'll be up to Hutchinson. And if those two fail, then it's going to be up to Cheveldayoff to find a savior in goal, because otherwise they're not going to make it.
I don't know what to do, guys. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Figure it out, Cheveldayoff. Figure it out.
Make a decision. Yeah. Listen, as I said, I appreciate the fact that he wants to be patient with his team and build it up. But as you said, this is the crucial year. This is going to be a crucial year for him. They don't make it this time, the roster's going to be shaken up, and it's going to be up to ownership to decide if Cheveldayoff is the right guy to have in that chair to shake things up.
Spoiler alert, no, he's not. Moving on up from the bottom. The Nashville. Moving on up to the east side, literally, as we go to Nashville from Winnipeg. And a new look Nashville Predators. Barry Trotz no longer behind the bench. Mitch Korn no longer the goalie coach. It's Peter Laviolette's show, and we're all just living in it. When you look at this team, especially considering for years and years and years and years and years and years they've been defensive, so much has been offensive. James Neal added to the lineup through the trade at the draft, and the likes of Gabriel Bork, who can score here and there. You pick up Olli Jokinen here, Mike Ribeiro here, Derek Roy, the advent of Philip Forsberg. I mean, this is a team that seems to be, I guess, a bubbling cauldron of scoring ability. But the question is whether or not they're going to be a bubbling cauldron of scoring possibilities.
Yeah, I mean the defense is still going to be first rate. I mean, Pekka Rinne is going to be back. He's back healthy. He claims that he's totally fine, completely recovered from his hip ailments, which is definitely good news for them. I mean the defense. I mean, God. I mean, man. Shea Weber, Seth Jones, Roman Josi. One more off the top of my head. Thank you. Yeah, I mean they're going to have a very solid top four. They've also got Ryan Ellis, who's an emerging puck-handling defenseman, though he's not signed yet. But, they've got the defense. They've got the goaltending. Yeah, it's going to be up to the goal scoring. The big question is going to be, I mean, obviously, can James Neal's offense travel well? Because he's not going to have Crosby or Malkin setting him up anymore. So it's going to be interesting. He's got to, have to adjust to that. I think they're going to be putting him with Mike Ribeiro. And as I said, I mean, despite all his personal issues, as I noted last year, I mean, Ribeiro still posted up decent numbers. So if he knows that this season is basically really going to be his last chance. He's got to, prove to the doubters that, no, listen, everything's fine, I can come back. Listen, he'd be the perfect setup man for James Neal. So if that combination can click, then yeah, their offense is going to pick up. And they do have a couple of decent scorers in there, but let's face it, I mean, it's ultimately going to come down to Neal and Ribeiro. Mike Fisher's sidelined now for a while, but I did like the moves that David Poile made to bolster the defense. He brought in a lot of veterans, but they're guys that in the short term can help them out for this year, and buys them some time until Fisher's healthy and can come back.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at even what the Pekka Rinne being down last year hurt a lot, but I mean Carter Hutton played well enough last year. Marek Maznek played very well. So I mean, I guess they can survive, but at the same time, yeah, the offense is going to be a fun thing to watch because, god damn, they have a lot of centers. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Their depth chart, they're about 10 deep on centers on depth chart.
Derek Roy, Mike Ribeiro, Olli Jokinen, Mike Fisher when he comes back.
Paul Gaustad, Matt Cullen, Colin Wilson, Craig Smith.
Well, Colin Wilson and Craig Smith, they can go onto the wings. So, but but you're right though. They are very deep down the middle. So, I mean, there's not a superstar among them, but still, there's some good depth there. There's still some good veteran depth there that, as I said, in the short term for this season, can help get them through.
And you know what? I think Eric Nystrom might be prepped for a big year too. For some reason, I've always believed in Eric Nystrom for some ungodly reason. This could be the year.
I've had a soft spot. Well, probably because of his links to his dad. But I've always kind of had a soft spot for him too.
I was going to go for striptease he did in Quad City, doing the slap shot thing a couple years back.
The slap shot thing.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. That's just me, I guess. We'll agree to disagree on this. We'll move to a team that I profiled today, and that is the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, man? You want to talk about a team that's built up for some scoring might, especially with acquiring Jason Spezza and the Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn combination they had.
And that Alex Hemsky they picked up as well.
Eric Cole is still alive, apparently.
He's still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he is still a thing. I mean, this is a team that I have to say, outside the defense is kind of their defense is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the $5 million they owe to Sergei Gonchar is not the best idea.
Yeah.
But what can you do? But I mean, they got other guys.
And they're all left-handed shots. But...
Well, listen, these things happen.
That can change over the season, though. That can change over the season. No. In Texas, it'd be, what? They all lefty. They should be right. They shoot right.
I just like how their top prospect is Julius Honka, who plays for Saskatoon.
Honka, if you love Julius.
Exactly. Honka, burn and love there.
I love a good new name.
Who doesn't, right? And they've got two guys in their system, one guy named Ludwig and one guy named Ludwig. So they got that going for them.
Ludwig back to Ludwig, Ludwig back to Ludwig.
Oh, it's the great. Well, that's the first names too. That's the best part about it. But, I mean, I'm of the idea that the Dallas Stars could be a team that's going to beat you 7-5. They're not.
No, actually, no. I mean, that defense is actually better than it seems.
It is better on paper, on the ice than it is on paper.
It is on paper, yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's still developing. They could definitely use, I think, a good, experienced blue liner on that top four who isn't Sergei Gonchar. If they could have got Sergei Gonchar from 3, 4, 5 years ago, that'd have been fine. That was one of the few mistakes that GM Jim Nill made. I mean, out of all the terrific moves that he's made since he took over as GM, that's one of his rare mistakes. But they definitely both loaded up on the firepower because last season, if you looked at the Dallas Stars stats, there was Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, and then the bottom just dropped significantly. And the one person that we're forgetting about on that group too is Nikushkin.
Oh.
Yeah, the sophomore. Listen, look at the choices that could wind up for him. He either could end up playing on the first line with Seguin or Benn, or he ends up on the second line with Jason Spezza. I mean, either way, I mean, you're going to be with two very strong offensive centers, and that is only going to benefit him. I think we could see a significant improvement in his numbers. So, but yeah, bringing in Spezza and Hemsky, I mean, I think that's going to significantly improve their offensive depth. Well, it's certainly, it's going to take a lot of the burden off of the first line, off of Seguin and Benn, that's for sure.
Best top six in the league?
Among them. I definitely think they're going to be among them. I don't know about the best, but they'll definitely be up there. I think that, yeah, it's going to be a lot of firepower. They've got pretty good goaltending. Kerry Lettinen, yeah,
It depends what Kerry Lettinen.
Kerry Lettinen has always left me wanting more. I mean, I understand that he had the injury histories earlier in his career. He seems to have overcome them in the past 3 years, but he just, he'll make brilliant save. He's one of those goalies that'll make a brilliant save 1 minute and then just lets in a completely weak goal the next, that just break, and that one always seems to be the backbreaker, outstanding saves, oh my God, credible angle, boop, at the worst possible time, so, yeah, I'm kind of, I mean, listen, he can get him to the playoffs, he can get him to the playoffs. He can carry them to the playoffs, but after that, I'm not that convinced. But they definitely got a lot of firepower. I think they've got a lot of young blue liners there. They got to get a right-handed shot in there. I think at some point you're going to see Jim Nill address that. I think you're going to see him, hey, maybe Mike Green,
Maybe Mike Green.
Maybe Mike Green.
Maybe Mike Green.
Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. Come on, Mike Green is not going to finish the season with the Washington Capitals.
Oh, you could have just stopped. He's not going to finish the season.
That is not good. I will be amazed if he's still with the Capitals by midseason. I know they're saying all the right things in Washington, but they're going to move him. I just don't see how he can stay there.
They have to move him.
I don't see how he can stay there. I don't see how he can stay there. Your top line is going to be Orpik and Niskanen, and that's a given. Your second line is going to be Alzner and Carlson. So who's going to be in your third line? Hello, Mike Green at $6 million. Patrol getting third pairing minutes? I don't think so.
Nah, it's going to be Erskine and Orlev, and Green's going to be in the press box.
Yeah.
That'll be.
Yeah. But anyway, before we don't want to go off on a tangent there, but it was just. Yeah, I'm just saying. Maybe Mike Green. That made Mark's ears perk up when I said Mike Green. What?
Mike Green.
Mike Green.
I'll be a capital name that I know. I know a guy that I booed from the 300 section.
Mumble, Largle, Bargle, Brooks Lytle, move.
Brooks Lytle helped change the tire. And,
yes, and he will forever be a hero.
Exactly.
He will be your hero, baby.
Good, because he ain't gonna do shit on the top six.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to that after we get through the Central.
Yeah, let's get through the Central.
5 minutes. Moving to Minnesota, obviously they're looking to build off their playoff run of last year, and they got a little bit more firepower to do it with Thomas Vanek there, the possibility of firepower, rather.
Yeah, there's firepower, just, it'll disappear in the playoffs.
Well, obviously, but listen, these things happen. He's Austrian. He doesn't know what to do in pressure.
Well, he's Austrian by way now of Minnesota. Yeah, he's Austrian by birth, but he's Minnesotan at heart.
So he's a Viking.
He's Minnesotan at heart, there, don't you know?
Oh man, I tell you. Yeah, he's Minnesota by wife. That is all we really have to say.
and university.
Yeah, that's true. Go Gophers.
Yeah.
What to make of this team, Lyle? I guess is Thomas Vanek going to make that big of a difference? Is Thomas Vanek going to add the goals that they were lacking? Well, like you said, he disappears in the playoffs. So I guess it really that question just answered
during
itself.
During the regular season, it'll be fun, but it's just those consistency issues. I don't know if playing in Minnesota is going to make that big of a difference as far as his consistency. Let's face it, the guy's 30 years old. He is what he is. I don't see there being any changes in his style of play. Of course, he'll help their offense. Like I said, the guy is good. The guy can get you 30 goals, 60 to 70 points. That's not something you turn your nose up at. So he's going to help. But for me, I'm much more excited about that young core of players that they've got. Michael Granlund and Charlie Coyle and Eric Haula and Haula if you hear him, because he made some noise in the playoffs last year. And as I said, they've got a very Nino Niederreiter who was buried in the one of Gar. Talk of Gar Stowe's mistakes. Boy, howdy, there's one that's on the top 10. Talk to an Islanders fan about Nino Niederreiter. Once you get past the initial blast of profanity, you'll find they're not very happy with how Gar Snow treated him. But it's those young guys, I think, that's going to make the difference. They've got a lot of good young players on that team, and they've got the established vets they brought in, definitely going to help them out, of course. But yeah, it's the young players. I think if they continue their improvement, is what we saw from them last year. Because as I said earlier when we were talking about their goaltending, the Wild, they were an exciting young team, especially in the playoffs. And I don't think that's a fluke. I think that's something that's going to carry over into this season.
And you look at the defense too. You got Jonas Brolin, who's there, Mario Scandella, Jonathan Bloom, and you haven't even seen Matthew Dumba at all. And Matthew Dumba's supposed to be,
and he's supposed to be, he's supposed to. Listen, this is the year that he'll probably crack that lineup. And Ryan Suter, who's probably one of among the elite defensemen in the NHL.
Yeah, one of the best. And
absolutely,
I don't think he gets the ink. I guess it's because he played in Nashville for so long and buried in there, and I don't know. I still think he's underrated as a defenseman. I don't think he gets the publicity he should get.
Well, absolutely. And I think it's the style of game that he plays. I mean, you could say, he was buried in Nashville. Yeah, but Shea Weber's been playing in Nashville, was playing in Nashville the same time, and Shea Weber, is a 3-time finalist for the Norris Trophy. He
can also shoot a puck through a body too.
Exactly. He's got that killer shot. He also played for Team Canada on 2 of their Olympic gold medal games, gold medal teams. I mean, that ups the profile too. Ryan Suter plays a more conservative style, if you will, but it's a very effective style, and it's like you said, I hate to call him underrated because it makes it sound like he never gets any appreciation at all for what he does. I mean, you talk to hockey writers, and then they all like, oh yeah, Ryan Suter, God, great defenseman. Yeah, is he going to be among your finalists for the Norris Trophy? No. Shea Weber and Zdeno Chara, even though he's now 100 years old, and PK Subban, Well, I don't want to disparage Subban too much, but
throw in Duncan Keith.
But let's face it. But yeah, Duncan Keith. And Duncan Keith's a good defenseman too. But I mean, well, here's the thing. Duncan Keith, I think, would you not say that his style of defense is somewhat comparable to Ryan Suter's?
Absolutely, it is. I think it's very similar, but I guess it's because Chicago wins a lot, and
there you go. And I think that again, that's part of it too. And you're much more in the limelight like that. But I mean, he's in Minnesota, the state of hockey. But if they start winning more, then perhaps he'll start getting his just due as well. The only real question they have it's with the goaltending. Oh man, what a dog's dare! And Mikey I mean, I feel sorry for the head coach of the Wild, because it's just throw your hands up and just like, what the hell, man? I mean, poor Josh Harding. I mean, that poor guy. I mean, he fights back from knee injuries earlier in his career. Everything's going great. He gets walloped with multiple sclerosis, battles back from that, gets sidelined again, tries to come back. Now he suffers a foot injury. He's out for months. Nicholas Backstrom, who was a terrific goaltender, until injuries caught up with him a few years ago, and now it's like, geez,
one after another.
He's 36 now, and you're like, let's face it, you don't want to trust him to be your starter full time. Darcy Kemper shows promise, but again, I don't want to go back on that, Yeah. And now they're looking at bringing in Ilya Bryzgalov, who, I mean, at this point, it's like we only just saw what he's good at in spurts last season. I mean, yeah, he came to the Wild and he played well for a couple of months, but what's he going to be like for a full season? And that's the real Achilles heel right there for the Minnesota Wild. They need to get a proven goaltender in there. And I mean, no disrespect to Josh Harding. I mean, he's shown when he's healthy that, yes, he's among the league's elite, but God, at this stage, I mean, you got to have somebody who's not only going to be, proven, but durable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's going to be an interesting situation. But the best part about the Minnesota Wild, they are the state of hockey, and in their concourse, they have the taste of hockey. So that's also a good thing.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They have the taste of hockey, which was actually quite tasty.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
it was a little bit better than the sandwiches we got in the box lunch. So whatever. That's
true. Best sandwiches ever in a box lunch at the draft in Montreal. Smoked meat sandwiches.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Well, though this year they did. Mark, did you have the? You had the cheesesteak, didn't you, Mark?
I did have a cheesesteak.
How was the cheesesteak?
They were very good, although probably not very good for you.
Wow, they're
Shocking.
cheesesteaks.
They are
Cheesesteak in Philadelphia. Not breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Try a diet cheesesteak. We took a couple onions off. There you go.
Sal's cheesesteak, not that good. It's sold out of a truck container. Uh,
The best kind, yes. The greasier, the better.
Yeah, I didn't have I had a cheesesteak earlier that day, so I didn't have a cheese. I didn't want to double up on cheesesteaks, and I'm like, all right, I'm already eating shitty enough. I don't need to eat shitty.
My colon is crying. Please eat something else.
And I only got a cheesesteak because I got lost. I got lost on my way back from the arena. Yeah, not the best place to get lost in Philadelphia, which is the entire city of Philadelphia. But yeah, I found a random diner that I heard a lot about because it's apparently a musical for the indie bands that made it big. It was a big place that they hung out at, so I ate lunch there. It was a good cheesesteak, not very greasy. Nice. It was very steaky and cheesy. So there's that.
There you go. As long as it's got steaky and cheesy, it's win-win.
Tell you, it's all about meat and cheese, meat and potatoes, and that's where we go now. The meat and potatoes team of the Chicago Blackhawks. They are what they are, man. They're full on hearty team, up top to bottom. Man, oh man, what can you say about this team that hasn't been said before? Corey Crawford's glove hands weak. That's what you can say.
To which he responds, he can't hear you because he's got one of his Stanley Cup ring plugging his ear.
And the other one, he got whacked upside the head when he was drunk one time, and that's why he can't hear out of that one. But they added, Brad Richards is going to be there. Teuvo Teravainen is going to be there probably for the full year. So I mean, those are two big offensive additions. Well,
Brandon Saad is just gonna continue. He's just gonna be a beast. I mean, my God, yeah, that kid. I was so impressed with his performance in last year's playoffs. You could see him improving throughout last season, but I mean, man, when they dropped the puck for the playoffs, it just took. Now Brian Bickle can just do the same thing. Can transfer his playoff performance throughout the season. That'd be even scarier. That's the thing. I mean, Bickle really struggled during last season, and then once the playoffs started, he was almost like a Claude Lemieux player that way. Yeah, kind of coast through the regular season. Yeah. Oh, playoffs, ding, and he's a monster. So, yeah.
If I may.
Yeah, you may, sir. You may.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the past 7 years, would they be in comparison in terms of prospects that the Red Wings were in the 90s, in terms of finding these guys and being able to bring them up through the system and have them succeed the way they've been succeeding?
It certainly seems that way. If you want to make it comparable, then comparing them to the Wings of the 90s, I think is a very good one, because they just seem to be finding these gems one after another. And here's the thing that's even scarier to think of. Imagine what this team would be like if there was no salary cap. I mean, imagine. Yep.
Half the Winnipeg Jets
would still be there. Andrew Ladd would still be.
Well, the Panthers would still be there.
But that's the thing. But the thing is, though, is ironically, if that team had stayed together, there wouldn't have been any room for Brandon Saad. There wouldn't have been any room for Andrew Shaw. There wouldn't have been any room for a lot of those younger players that you see in their roster now. So, and they're going to have some. Listen, enjoy the current incarnation though of the Chicago Blackhawks for this season, because it's going to change a bit after this season. It's going to change because they've invested a boatload of money, and for obvious reasons, into two of the game's biggest stars, in Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. But that's going to create a cap crunch. They're not going to be able to keep Johnny Oduya after this season. Michael Roswell's going to be gone anyway, but no biggie there. But Nick Leddy is going to be a restricted free agent, and it's going to cost $3.4 million to qualify him. His cap hit is $2.7 million, but his actual salary is a little higher than that. And remember, when you give him a qualifying offer, it's always 10% above what your actual salary was. So there's going to be that, and they don't have a whole lot of cap space. So they're not going to have to gut the team as they did 4 years ago after their Stanley Cup championship. They're not going to have to make a bunch of massive salary dumping deals, but they will have to let some guys go or trade some guys, and that's going to happen. And it could start within the next 2 to 3 weeks, because they're 2.2 mil over the cap. They don't have anybody they can place on long-term injured reserve, so they can't get any cap relief that way. Unless, and heaven forbid, you don't want to see that happen to any of their players, but let's just say for argument's sake, because he does have a bit of history of injuries, let's say Marian Hossa. If he winds up suffering a significant injury that sidelines him for weeks or months during training camp, then they could, they'll have cap relief that way. But at some point, if he would come back, they would have to shed salary. So I think we're going to see it over the next 3 weeks because they got to be cap compliant before October 8th, which is when the season begins. So it's down. It seems to be, all the talk seems to be that is down to either Johnny Oduya or Nick Leddy could get dealt, because Oduya is a 3.375 mil, I believe. Nick Leddy is 2.7. That's on their cap hits. So one of those two could go. And Elliot Friedman of now Sportsnet, also he's saying CBC, but now with Sportsnet, he had said that the thought seems to be that they would prefer to keep Oduya for one more season, because they want to make one more run at the Cup with their current core, with their current group of veterans, and Oduya is a good defense pairing with Hjalmarsson, so they prefer to keep that pairing intact for the rest of the season. If that's the case, then Nick Leddy would be the guy to go. Earlier this summer, Pierre LeBrun speculated that Stan Bowman, the GM, would prefer perhaps to move Chris Versteeg. Nobody's touching Chris Versteeg. I would be shocked if somebody actually took him off their hands. The other player's name was kicked around earlier in the summer. That was Patrick Sharp. But again, if the thought process is that they want to keep the band together for one more run at the Cup, then they won't move Patrick Sharp this year. But I would not rule out Patrick Sharp being dealt next summer. And I know there's going to be a lot of Blackhawks fans that are going to say no, but I really have a feeling, especially if Brandon Saad continues to play, if he develops along as they expect, and if Andrew Shaw continues to improve, they're going to have to make room. And Patrick Sharp, terrific player, but I think he's 32, 33 now, and he struggled in the playoffs, which was kind of unusual, but he did struggle in this year's playoffs. Now, is that the first sign of maybe age catching up with him over the course of a long season? I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him being moved, that they're going to keep him, that they would keep him for this season. As I said, keep the band together for one more run at the Cup, and then he gets traded away in a salary dumping deal next summer, and Oduya walks, and so I guess basically what I'm saying, it looks like it'd be Nick Leddy be the odd man, but determine that by seeing how the team performs over the next 2 to 3 weeks in training camp and preseason.
Moving up or down the road rather, to Missouri, the Show Me State, and man, it's time for the Blues to start showing some life after they got bounced in the first round after such a promising thing, and they have the parts to do it, Lyle, but man, oh man, I don't know about this tandem of Brian Elliott, Jake Allen. For some reason, that makes me uneasy as hell.
And I have no idea why.
I mean, it just seems really weird to me.
Brian Elliott is a proven playoff. Well, Jake Allen, I mean, in the AHL, and in the NHL, and
Maxime Lapierre, eh?
Yeah, boy, howdy, let me tell you. Well, I tell you. Well, listen, I mean, everything else on this team is, I think they're God Almighty. They've got the firepower, and bringing in Paul Stastny, I definitely like that move. Sure. I mean, they needed an experienced first-line playmaking center, and bringing him in, absolutely perfect. Now you can take David Backes and put him on the wing. I think that's where he belongs, is on the wing. Okay, not saying he wasn't effective as a center, just think he's better on the wing. And you put Paul Stastny on the first line. Like I said, lots of firepower there. I mean, TJ Oshie's in there as well. Alex Steen. I don't expect Alex Steen to have another season like he did this past one, but I still think 25, 30 goals. 55 to 65 points. I think he's good for that. Tarasenko, I really love that kid. I think if he can stay healthy. You know, I mean, he's just got so much potential. Such a terrific. He led them in scoring during the playoffs. I mean, in that first round. I mean, I know they only did the first round, but he led them in goal scoring. Terrific kid. He's got a lot of upside. Their defense is just ridiculous. You want to talk about deep? I mean, that's one of the top, you know, in the league. I mean, you know, with Peter Angelo and Bouwmeester and Shattenkirk and you know, that's just the three off the top of my head, you know. And they're actually so deep on defense. I mean, Elliot Friedman's speculating that they're going to end up that they could trade one of them. That Jordan Leopold's name's been tossed out there, you know. That says a lot about the depth that they have. I mean, they've got the firepower. I like the depth that they've got on their checking lines, you know, and yeah, I think they've got all that addressed. It's that goaltending. And, yeah, I mean, Ryan Miller couldn't get the job done. It was like, oh, well, okay. I mean, I know that they Jaden Schwartz was the other kid I was trying to think of, too, up front. He's another one that kind of...
Still needs to be signed, though.
Yeah, but that's nowhere near that. I don't even think that's even contentious. I don't think we can put that in the same ballpark as Ryan Johansson. But, yeah.
They're not throwing numbers at him. That's why.
Yeah. No, honestly though, I think the reason why that they went with what they got is just comes down to finances. You know, they looked at it and they really wanted to bring Paul Stastny in. He was the guy they were going to go. It was going to be Paul Stastny or Jason Spezza. One of those two they were going to bring in, and I think they just looked at it and just said, okay. You know, well, Jake Allen shows a lot of promise, and Brian Elliott's been with us for a while. Honestly, I think Elliott, they're going to be using him to groom Jake Allen to take over. I think Jake Allen. I think we get to the end of the season, it's going to be Jake Allen as the starter.
Wow, you're giving it to the end of the season. I was going to give it 2 months.
Well, I want it to be
December
kind.
comes rolling around. Jake Allen.
Yeah. Well, listen, everybody's so high on the guy, and understandably. I mean, you know, he's got tremendous potential, but you know. Man, you're talking about throwing a kid in there who doesn't have a lot of NHL experience, and you're going to be asking him to carry it to a Stanley Cup. Now, it's not saying it hasn't been done before, but you know, on the same token, there's been many more instances where a young goalie is thrown in that position, and it, you know, it turns out to be terrible. So. Yeah, that's the one big question mark on the Blues. Everywhere else, oh yeah, they're a cup at forward. You know, their scoring lines, their defense, their defensive depth. They're absolutely a cup contender. Goaltending,
yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch in St. Louis, and to watch the fans have a meltdown. That's always a fun time too. When it comes to
well, I'll tell you, if they don't go deep this year. If they don't at least get to the conference final this year, then they can't wait. They've got to find themselves a goaltender, and if that means trading some of that depth to bring it in or to free up cap space to bring it in, you do it, because you know, you don't want to see all that potential thrown away. You know, you don't want to see it thrown away on inconsistent or inexperienced goaltending. And we've seen that a lot of times, you know, throughout NHL history. A team that just, you know, they look terrific, but the goaltending just can't get it done. And yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why the San Jose Sharks have struggled, you know, for the past several years. I mean, they stuck with Nabokov when he was, you know, when he got past his prime. Antti Niemi looked like he was going to be the guy for a while, but the last 2 seasons he's just been meh. Like I said, they're talking about dumping him, but we'll discuss that when we do the
next week.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the Blues have to be very careful. You don't want to go down that road. Now, fortunately, time's on their side with these guys. A lot of their core players are young guys, you know, that are signed long term. And some of their experienced guys, like you bring in Stastny, you know, Jay Bouwmeester as well. Now they're all signed long term, so there's no worry there about, you know, that core starting to break down before you have a chance to address that significant weakness. So they'll be okay there. They do have the luxury of time, but yeah, if the goaltending can't get it done this season, then they're going to have to go and find somebody. So going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
I'm going to put this out there. You can answer it however you want. Colorado Avalanche of last year, mirage or real deal?
Real deal, but they've got to improve that defense. Big time. Their defensive play has to improve. I mean, lots of firepower up front. Definitely going to be one of the highest scoring teams in the league. Semyon Varlamov had that wasn't a fluke. You know, that was his breakthrough performance. But he cannot have another season facing the most shots in the league as he did last year. That defense has got to improve. It has to tighten up. If it does, because that's the Achilles heel right now. They're still very much a run and gun type of team. That's, if you want to talk about a team that you're going to win a lot of games, 7-5, 6-4, 5-4. That's the team where it's going to happen. That's going to do it. So they've got to improve that defensive play.
Where is Iginla Briere going to fit in with his team?
Well, Iginla, I think he's got enough left in the tank to give him 25, 30 goals. Figure where,
is he a top 6 guy for them?
Yes. You can put him on the I could see him second line. I'm not so keen if he's still got enough left in the tank for first line. He could. He did with Boston last year. He may still have enough left in the tank for one more year. I mean, I don't doubt that they'll definitely start him on the first line and see how it goes. They've got the centers that he can play with. Stick him on Duchesne's line. You can slide. They're going to slide Nathan MacKinnon into the second line center. And let's not kid ourselves. I think this could be the year where we see Nate MacKinnon wind up being the first-line center. But perhaps I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But no offense to Matt Duchene, who's a terrific player. But is he Nate MacKinnon? No. So there you go. You put Jerome Iginla with Duchene or MacKinnon, I think he's still got enough left for a 30-goal season this year. Danny Briere, I did not understand that move at all. I know they wanted to get rid of Parenteau, but you're looking at a mirage in Danny Briere. I mean, and no disrespect to Danny Briere, he's always been one of my favorite players. But it was very apparent this season with Montreal, and it wasn't because Montreal was a bad team. They tried him everywhere, and it just didn't work. I mean, yeah, he got in the playoffs. Yeah, he managed to chip in a couple of points to keep his legend of Mr. Clutch playoff alive, but he just doesn't have enough left in the tank anymore, and I just don't see where he's a fit. I really don't.
I have to say that Semyon Varlamov played well. That means he's due for an injury. So I don't know if the goaltending depth is there, because all due respect to Reto Berra and what he was able to do with Calgary last year, but after that, it's. That could be. They better hope that Semyon Varlamov can stay healthy, because if not, I think it gets because Calvin Pickard has always been the next guy, but he's been in the minors for years now. Sammy Adekiyo-Kalalo, he is, God bless me, he was a guy who came up for a couple games a few years back, and then dehydration, and he was out for the rest of the season. Yep. So I mean, they better hope that Varlamov is taking his vitamins and made of adamantium, so he doesn't bend or recover quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is he, as I said, this just goes back to my point. He can't face the type of workload that he faced last season. Not saying he can't play that many games. I'm just saying he can't face the amount of pucks that he had fired at him last season. I mean, that defense has to get better. If he had gotten injured last season, or if he had struggled down the stretch, they might not have made the playoffs. They could have tumbled big time. So, they really have to ensure that they tighten up on that defense. And like you said, hope that he stays healthy.
All right. Well, Lyle, I think we've covered the Central Division pretty thoroughly, and I think that's going to be it. That's going to be all for us. So, thank you so much for coming on, as always. And
always a pleasure.
Thank you for breaking down this Ryan Johansson fun fest that we're going to be dealing with over the next few weeks. And yeah, good times, and we look forward to the Pacific Division next week as well. So you have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday, sir.
Talk to you next Wednesday, guys.
Bye, Lyle. There he goes. InspectorsHockey.net, HockeyNews.com, BleacherReport.com, and PEI Guardian Island Guard in land something. Shout-outs, Mr. Mark with a C.
Well, let's see. I'm going to give a shout-out to the Orioles, clearly, for winning, because they're awesome. Shout out to Brittany for bringing me up a Halloween-themed foam-fed cookie that I will be eating momentarily. And I don't know. I guess that's about it for me. I don't have too many shout outs this week.
It's okay. These things happen.
I got a haircut. Shout out maybe to that too.
Yeah, shout out haircuts, especially for us who are balding, because everyone could be our last, Mark. Everyone could be
That's
our
right.
last.
True.
That's why I keep the front long, because I'm just like, I gotta hold on to it for as long as possible. I will shout out, of course, Mr. Mike's Casual Steakhouse, Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, home of delicious steaks, home of beer. Tell them Scotty sent you, and they'll look at you very odd, like I don't know what that means. So go from there. Also, shout out to your Baltimore Orioles. AL East champ, something we haven't said since freshman year of high school, so that's a big deal for us. Shout out to people who have been reading the FOHS Farm Report previews I've been putting up. I couldn't make that a .com because I have the disposable income for that, I'm sure. And we'll go from there. And shout out for Mark for staying around, and diss to the compressors for not working at Laurel.
Yeah. Well, we'll get this season started sooner or later. Probably later.
Your season shouldn't start till October anyway, so it's 'cause
That's
it's
right.
not. So the hell with it.
It's not.
No, it's not. The Twitter has told us so. You know what's funny is that people are going to say, "Is it October yet?" It's going to be like October 3rd. It's like, yeah, no, it's October. Shut the hell up. Hate all of you. All right, that's it. That's all. We're yelling at Twitter now, so that means we got to go. So for Mark with a C, I'm Scotty Waz. Take care of yourself and someone else. It's been Face Off Hockey Show on faceoffhockeyshow.com or wherever you get your podcast. Faceoffhockeyshow.com is also our Tumblr, so you can check us out for all the fun stuff we may or may not reblog there because we may or may not pay attention to it. Much like the Twitter, which is at Faceoff HCKY Show, and our Facebook page, which is FOHS Radio. After you put the / after Facebook.com. So until next week, well, we'll be one step closer to a hockey season. Peace.
You're doing it.
That
right?
ought to hold those sons of bitches. Listen, let me tell you, I'm tired of these guys just asking these questions, and they put the questions they think we're going to answer. We're on the air. For
I don't even.
all the time.
Wait, we're on the air.
What?
You said on the air, right?
Oh shit.